Balenciaga may not have expected to break the internet this week, but Meghan Markle certainly did. And what makes it even sweeter is that the moment didn't come from a PR rollout, a red carpet appearance, or a stage paparazzi setup. It came from something far more powerful: creative validation from one of the most influential designers in global fashion, Pierpaolo Piccioli himself. Let's be very clear. When the creative director of Balenciaga posts Meghan Markle on his own Instagram stories, not once, but twice, he is sending a message. A message to the industry, a message to the fashion world, and most importantly, a message to every hater who has spent the past 5 years pretending Meghan is somehow irrelevant. Because irrelevant women don't break fashion accounts. Irrelevant women don't inspire designers. Irrelevant women don't get featured on Harper's Bazaar's art issue cover, styled in elite couture. And they certainly don't get cheered publicly by the creative director of Balenciaga. But Meghan did. And Pierpaolo Piccioli didn't whisper. He posted boldly, proudly, and with intention, because he knows exactly what Meghan represents. He knows the cultural power she carries. And he knows the value of a woman who refuses to be boxed in by the British press's never-ending smear campaign. Now, let's unpack what actually happened, because the layers here are delicious. First, the Harper's Bazaar cover shot. Meghan in that striking sculptural red Balenciaga look, clean lines, minimalist, unapologetically modern. The type of bold fashion silhouette that only works on someone with confidence and presence. And Meghan? She wears that look like it was designed for her. That alone would have been enough to ignite fashion circles. But then Piccioli doubled down and posted a second image, Meghan in a candid moment, laughing warmly, dressed in a white ensemble, greeting him directly. A moment of real connection, real admiration, real mutual respect. Designers don't do that by accident. That is a statement. That is him saying, "This woman is mine. She is one of us. She's fashion." And you know what's even more powerful? He didn't need a caption. He didn't need a press release. The images spoke loudly enough. The fashion world heard him. The haters heard him too, and suddenly went very, very quiet. Because for years, British tabloids and their royal-aligned commentators tried everything to paint Meghan as someone fashion would reject. They mocked her style. They dismissed her modern minimalism. They accused her of being try-hard. They undermined what she wore, who she wore, and why she wore it. They compared her constantly to Kate, praising Kate's conservative looks while belittling Meghan's high fashion sensibility as inappropriate or attention-seeking. But here is the truth. Fashion houses don't align with mediocrity. They align with vision. And Meghan Markle has always had one. Balenciaga sees it. Harper's Bazaar sees it. The global public sees it. And the people who don't? They're the ones who needed Meghan to stay small so their outdated royal narrative could feel big. Let's be honest, the British press woke up to these photos and choked on their cornflakes. Because Meghan wasn't supposed to win, not in their script. Leaving the royal family was supposed to make her fade away. Move to America? Fade away. Sign global deals? Fade away. Launch a lifestyle brand? Fade away. Release a podcast? Fade away. Everything she did was supposedly the wrong move, the desperate move, the career-ending move. And yet, here we are. Meghan Markle on the cover of one of the world's most respected fashion magazines, styled in Balenciaga and personally celebrated by Pierpaolo Piccioli. She didn't fade, she flourished. She didn't shrivel under pressure. She reinvented herself yet again. She didn't beg a monarchy for validation. She earned global respect on her own terms. and that terrifies the people who wanted her failure to justify their cruelty. The fashion industry loves Meghan. Why? Because fashion honors authenticity. Fashion honors evolution. Fashion honors individuality. And Meghan brings all three. She doesn't dress to impress a monarchy. She dresses to express confidence. She doesn't dress to look obedient. She dresses to look intentional. She doesn't let clothes wear her. She wears them with clarity, ease and meaning. Think back to her royal years. Even with palace restrictions, Meghan found ways to add modernity to an institution stuck in the 1950s. She brought crisp silhouettes, clean tailoring, bold colours, and minimalist elegance. And every time she stepped out, the world noticed, which is exactly why the British media became so obsessed with tearing her down. She brought too much light to a family that relies on shadows. Too much modern energy for an institution that survives only through tradition. But fashion never forgot her. They watched, they observed, they admired. Balenciaga acknowledging her publicly isn't a coincidence. It's a reminder that Meghan's cultural impact outlived every attempt to minimize her. Piccioli's post is a rebuttal without saying a word. Do you know what makes this entire moment stunning? Pierpaolo didn't have to defend Meghan. He didn't have to say a single word about the negativity she receives. He didn't have to clap back at the trolls, tabloids, or the royal commentators still gnawing on the crumbs of the 2018 wedding. Because nothing silences haters like professional respect. Nothing shuts down smear campaigns like elite endorsement. Nothing embarrasses critics like a designer choosing Meghan as his muse of the moment. This is what the British commentators can't handle. People with actual influence love Meghan. People with talent recognise her value. People with vision see her clearly. That's why the smear campaign always felt so out of place. It was never grounded in reality, only resentment. Let's break this down clearly. Kate Middleton models British tradition. Meghan Markle models global modernity. One is monarchy, one is movement. One stays in the box. One builds something beyond the box. And I promise you, fashion houses align with the latter. Because Meghan represents a demographic the royals lost years ago. Young people, progressives, women of colour, the global diaspora. Modern thinkers, creators, millennials, Gen Z, anyone who values authenticity over aristocratic performance. Her fashion presence is not domestic, it is international. And fashion houses market to the world, not to Kensington Palace's PR office. Let's take a moment to appreciate when Piccioli posted this. While British tabloids were yet again recycling tired narratives about Meghan struggling, fading, or grasping for relevance, Balenciaga, one of the largest, most powerful fashion houses, was literally amplifying her image to millions. On one side, cheap commentary from bitter, irrelevant royal experts who haven't evolved since Princess Diana's era. On the other side, a global fashion visionary publicly celebrating Meghan's elegance, confidence, and artistic expression. It's almost poetic. This moment tells us three things. 1. Meghan is entering her high fashion era. She always had the aesthetic. Now she has the partnerships, the creative allies, and the cultural resonance. 2. The global fashion industry sees her as aspirational, marketable, and influential. Not despite the smear campaign, but because she rose above it. 3. She is positioning herself for long-term cultural impact. Fashion is not just clothing, it is branding, it is storytelling, it is symbolism. And Meghan is mastering all three. This isn't a random moment, it's the beginning of something bigger. Have you noticed? When the posts went live, the British commentators didn't know what to do. No snarky headlines, no fake outrage, no monarchy-approved narratives. Why? Because you cannot argue with fashion houses. You cannot discredit Pierpaolo Piccioli. You cannot spin Harper's Bazaar into a tabloid. You cannot twist global admiration into jealousy. All they could do was sit there quiet and watch Meghan shine. Meghan's authenticity wins again. This is the part that truly makes the haters suffer. Meghan didn't have to beg for this. She didn't hustle for attention. She didn't manufacture the moment. She simply lived her life, worked on her projects, and carried herself with dignity. And the fashion world, watching from a distance, said, "Yes, that woman." That is why the hate campaign failed. That is why Meghan is still a cultural force. That is why Piccioli's posts hit so hard. Because they confirmed what Sussex supporters already knew. Meghan is not just relevant, she is resonant. Not just stylish, but influential. Not just admired, but respected. And here is the deeper truth. The monarchy never understood what they lost. They thought Meghan needed them. But in reality, they needed her. They needed her modernity. They needed her charisma. They needed her global appeal. They needed her style, her compassion, her identity, her power. And losing her wasn't just a PR blow. It was a cultural loss, one they will never recover from. Fashion houses don't care about British hierarchy. They care about cultural currency. And Meghan has it in abundance. So, as Pierpaolo Piccioli celebrates Meghan's bizarre look, the message is clear. She is thriving. She is rising. She is respected by the world's most powerful tastemakers. And every time a designer posts her, every time a global brand features her, every time her presence inspires creativity, another layer of the hateful narrative collapses. Because you cannot dim a woman whose light comes from within. You cannot silence a woman who is being celebrated by the world. And most importantly, you cannot stop Meghan Markle from winning because she already did.